Welcome back to Two Marks and a Spark. This is my second time doing this intro because things happened. All right. So, gentlemen, WrestleMania has come and gone. Also, let's address the elephant in the room. Russ is not here, not feeling good. We we were told to go on as planned, so here we are. The show goes on.
Feel better, Russ.
Yeah,
Feel
feel
better,
better,
Russ.
Russ. I know he was looking forward to the show, so do feel better, buddy.
Picked a hell of a show to miss too.
Yeah, right? Like his immune system picked a hell of a time to kick his ass.
Yeah, it did.
Anyway, WrestleMania Night 2. Did either of you bother to watch the pre-show?
This time, no.
As we did yesterday, I think we watched a whole 5 to 10 minutes and nothing notable happened.
I want to point out I napped until about 5:30 today. So, that gives you an idea of how entertaining that pre-show probably was.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Worth noting, I don't think they put Jackie Redmond and CM Punk together again. I wonder if AJ Lee complained. Anyway, worth noting there was an AJ Lee sign visible throughout the entire night and nobody took it away.
And the Peppa Pig sign.
Forgot about that.
2 nights in a row.
Could have mentioned last night there was a Nas Reed sign.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Timberwolves.
did the Nas Reed sign come back?
I didn't see it tonight, but it was pretty sweet that it was there in general. He's a global superstar.
That man's a hero. Anyway, speaking of heroes, let's talk about some of our favorite heroes here at WrestleMania. That was a really corny transition. I apologize for that. Anyway, so this show starts. They do all their bullshit. War and Treaty sing America the Beautiful. I actually thought this was better than last night's thing that they did with Coco or whatever her name was. I thought this was significantly better, but I still didn't think it was very good. And it might have just been how it came across on television. That really could be it.
I thought it was better, but I had no idea who they were.
Yeah, same here. Then we get, speaking of better, we get another intro package with Meek Mill, who did a much better job tonight than he did yesterday. I mean, Meek Mill was awful last night. I thought he was okay tonight. Guy still definitely doesn't watch wrestling. After this, Samantha Irvin comes on the PA and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Stephanie McMahon. I shit my britches."
That was definitely a twist.
That tells me she's probably re-signed.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I'm sorry, you want to say that name again?
And then you were like, oh, I need to change my britches.
Oh, I shit my pants. Hang on. Anyway. So Stephanie comes out and she does basically what Triple H did last night. And she did the DX Are You Ready thing. And
she made a titty joke right off the top. Like the first thing out of her mouth was a titty joke. I appreciated it, but it was a titty joke nonetheless. I was like, okay, all right.
Okay,
one of the many twists and turns of tonight's
program. That's how you
program.
knew her promo was not scripted, because she made a tits joke immediately. I'm like, okay, so they didn't give her a script at all. They did not tell her what to say. CM Punk comes out, and then, well, he came out, I guess, on the pre-show.
Yeah, they didn't even give him a real entrance. They were like, "Oh, we'll give you an entrance here, and we'll give you an introduction here in a minute," and then they just didn't.
Well, McIntyre comes out, and it's the most ridiculous entrance I think I've ever seen for about the next 30 seconds, because the next one is far worse. Bunch of guys in bagpipes play him to the ring. It was pretty cool. And then Seth Rollins' entrance was, I think I felt like I was laced with something. Like I drank something that was laced with fucking LSD because this was the single most insane thing of the night.
I thought it was pretty chaotic, honestly.
It was chaotic, and I was there for it. I'm trying to remember like what the name of the group was.
I wrote it down. It was the Philadelphia Mummers String Band.
The Philadelphia Mummers String Band. Okay.
Yes. I actually took notes tonight, guys. Are you proud of me?
Good, because I wouldn't have remembered that off the top
They,
of my head.
they performed at the the Eagles Super Bowl parade a couple of years ago. And
Oh,
last
shit.
night's hero, Jason Kelsey, dressed up like a mummer on the at the podium. And yeah, so
It's a Philadelphia thing, in other words.
it is, yes, 100%.
So
Okay.
Seth Rollins comes out and he gets one of the biggest pops of the night, almost surprisingly. And him and Drew, I thought this was going to be a squash from the off.
I did too. I actually predicted that last night it was going to be a squash.
And
I mean,
when the Claymore happened right away, I was like, oh, that's it.
It wasn't long, but it was definitely longer than I was expecting.
This match went almost 11 minutes, and it was fantastic from bell to bell. And Punk on commentary, well, way too quiet, like they had his mic turned down too low, was pretty good. Was not the unhinged straight edge society Punk we got on commentary a whole bunch of years ago, though. I will say that, because that guy was out of his mind. They go back and forth. McIntyre at one point in the match hits a go to sleep. I thought that was a really
he tried to. He didn't actually hit it. He tried to.
Oh, I thought he actually hit it at one point. McIntyre, the finish kind of comes out of nowhere because McIntyre ends up just hitting like 2 Claymores back to back, and that's it.
Well, the overlying storyline here is that Drew has been telling Seth that he's not focused on the match with Drew, and that he's distracted with the Cody Rhodes stuff, and he's distracted with the Bloodline stuff. And at the end of the match, and throughout the whole match, Drew was affected by CM Punk. He kept looking at him, he kept chirping at him, all this kind of stuff. So it really kind of they took the narrative that Drew was trying to put on Seth and turned it around on Drew, and I thought it was a really, really nice twist at the end.
It was like everyone was distracted for different reasons.
Correct.
Drew is celebrating, but he kind of had the poo-poo face at the same time, like, I won, but I know what's about to happen, and this is gonna suck.
He gets up on the commentary table and he gets almost kind of right in Punk's face, down on one knee, and he's jaw jacking at him, and he's talking to him. And at one point, Punk says, "I can't hear a word you're saying. I've got a headset on," and it was hilarious. So Drew keeps pointing at him and jaw jacking with him, and Punk finally started to be able to hear what he said, and then Drew did the suck it hand gesture, and that was kind of the end of that. And Punk stood up, and as Drew had his back turned, yeah, Punk got sick of it, and Drew turned around to face the ramp or face towards the ring, and Punk undercut him and took his leg out, hit him with the arm brace a couple times, and then something happened. Then
Priest music hits. Here comes Damian Priest, and this gets a massive pop, by the way. I mean, probably the biggest pop Priest has gotten in almost a year was for this. And I talked about this last night. I thought him cashing in would get him some new momentum, and it definitely seemed like it did.
It did.
Because he got a massive pop. He hits a South of Heaven, 1, 2, 3. It's over in about 10 seconds. Guys, what did you think of this match and then the after party and then everything here? I gave this an A-. I thought this was fucking brilliant.
I thought it was really solid. It wasn't much of a surprise. I think we all figured it was going to happen in some type of way. I wasn't expecting CM Punk to get involved the way he did. but I
Punk
really
did
liked
way more physically than I think any of us thought he was going to.
I liked the way that they worked the whole distraction angle into it, and I think it worked, and I enjoyed it very much so.
And worth noting, after he lost, Drew McIntyre said fuck on Twitter, uncensored. So I thought that was very funny. Um, Snoop Dogg ends up coming out for commentary, and I'm thinking, oh boy, things are about to get weird. And they definitely did. Then Bubba Ray comes out, and I wanted to turn the show off immediately. The second I saw Bubba Ray, I was like, oh.
I mean, I get why they did it. It's the Philadelphia thing. It's kind of a Paul Heyman weekend kind of thing. But yeah, him and Jim Cornette are about the two guys that when they're on, I basically turn it off. I don't ever want to. I don't ever want to hear Bubba Ray ever bashing WWE again or crapping on AEW and saying how great WWE is. Like, the only time he got a pop in the whole entire match was when he put his glasses on.
And said, get the tables. Anyway,
Yeah.
the next match was the 6-man Philadelphia street fight, Lashley and the Profits against Scarlett. Because by the way, I say Lashley and the Profits. B-Fab was very involved in this match, as was Scarlett. This might as well have been an 8-person tag because Scarlett and B-Fab were just as involved as the men were for about half the match.
I think referring to this as a Philadelphia street fight instead of just a hardcore match was kind of an insult.
Oh, dude, yeah.
They
Like
do
it
that
was
at every possible opportunity too.
yeah. Like, oh, it's gonna be a street fight, and then we're just gonna like stay in and around the ring and just use weapons in the ring. That's a hardcore match. That's not a street fight.
And for what this was with the lackluster build that it had, and frankly, the talent being very loaded to one end of the spectrum here. That being Lashley and the Profits. Dev, your camera cut off.
Okay.
So Lashley and the Profits end up just getting their asses kicked for about 90% of this, and then Bubba Ray gets involved when Cross gets mad at him, and yeah, this was just chaos. I don't know. I don't know how to describe this match. Bryce, what do you think?
I think it was a lot more enjoyable than I was expecting. I thought that it was fun. I thought it was a little funny even at spots.
It was a C- match on a point on the card where it didn't need to be.
This was your filler match, so to speak. This was very much the filler match, but it was enjoyable enough where, you know, it didn't offend anybody and it was fun.
This was the end of Karrion Kross's push.
Yeah.
It's over. Any push he was getting is gone.
What a shame, am I right? what a shame. Oh no. What are we gonna do?
Oh no, this bag of dicks wrestler fucking got his push cut. Oh well.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, okay, can we talk about this fucking spot with B-Fab and Scarlett for a second? I don't want to talk about this match anymore, but this spot with B-Fab and Scarlett. Yeah. Scarlett looked like she died on this spot.
Oh, there is one spot I want to talk about.
Oh, Jesus.
Can we talk about how the Street Profits were putting Karrion Kross on a table and the table broke as they were putting him on the table?
Oh.
Like the weight of Karrion Kross broke this fucking table. And he just kind of flopped on the ground. And they were just like, and then like threw the table out. And they got another one and did the exact same thing.
Botchamania is going to have a heyday with that match.
That was pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Because I don't think B-Fab and Scarlett were both supposed to go through that table. I think only one of them was, and they both did. So anyway, after this, we get a lot of stalling. Also, Devlin, what was your final grade for the match?
Uh, C minus. Like it, I thought the women had better spots than the men did.
Yeah, which is crazy because Scarlett can't work worth a lick.
I thought it was
Right.
a fine, I guess, out of 10.
A fine, I guess. We get a video package for later on in the night. This was all filler. We get a Paul Heyman interview with Caleb Braxton. Heyman and Braxton have such great on-screen chemistry. These two are
Yes.
fucking great together.
Oh yeah.
Yes, like I want to see a sitcom with those two. Where
If
like
they
she plays his like niece or something, and she goes through like college and like brings guys home to date, and Paul just like reacts to everything.
if they announced that they were going to start a new YouTube show with Caleb Braxton and Paul Heyman, I think everybody would watch that.
Yeah.
Like, religion, that would be the new BTE in terms of popularity. Anyway, we finally, after what felt like forever, get to LA Knight versus AJ Styles. LA Knight comes out.
Yeah.
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 You like Slim Jims?
No.
Are you part of the Long Boy gang? Hey,
So
I thought
anyway,
this was fun.
So LA Knight's entrance is way too goddamn long.
It's because
And
he
I
pulls
don't
up in a Nissan GTR covered in Slim Jim logos.
and then hands the keys to some
and then gives the car to a 60-year-old lady in the front row who looked less than thrilled.
She did not give a shit about getting that GTR at all.
She did not. She was like, "Oh, hey."
I get the racer car.
and then LA Knight is just stalling because I don't think AJ was supposed to take this long. I was like, did AJ shit his britches? What happened here? And then we get AJ Styles new music.
It was good.
Huh?
It was good.
Yeah, it was all right. It was cool. And we didn't hear much of the new music because, of course, AJ decided to run to the ring. These guys go about 13 minutes. Pretty solid match all around. LA Knight gets the win, which I did not expect. And who knows where they go from here with these two.
The glazing of LA Knight continues, it would seem.
Yes. Thought this was a B+ match, guys. What did we think?
I think it gets a B+, not only for it actually being a decent match, but for it not taking up that much time, really.
It was exactly what it needed to be.
It was short and sweet for a match with, little stakes.
Dev, what'd you think?
Yeah, I agree. B+. It did what it needed to do on the card.
And then we get more stalling. And then we get the Hall of Fame thing.
Which is more stalling.
Which is actually just stalling.
This is why we did this on SmackDown. So we didn't have to do this again.
Like, this would have been a spot where if they'd wanted to, they could have put the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal in. Like, if they really needed another filler match, this would have been the spot to do it.
Anyway, so we get a bunch of video packages, a bunch of ads, a bunch of bullshit that nobody cared about. And about 18 minutes later, I'm not even kidding, we get Logan Paul coming out on a Prime truck.
Oh, fuck. I forgot about the Prime truck.
And it was at this point I again wanted to turn the show off. Glad
Wait,
I did.
are you sure that's what it was? I can't tell if that's what drink he sells. Are you sure? Because that truck didn't have any labeling or anything on it. Are you sure it wasn't just a regular truck?
I thought the Prime jokes yesterday were plentiful. The Prime jokes today were insane. Too many.
So somebody is in the fucking Prime bottle outfit again, and we'll get to why that's funny later. Kevin
I,
Owens.
I will say my favorite part of this entire match was halfway through the match, the crowd was chanting Gatorade. That really made me pop. I loved that.
Going against the grain.
You're right.
So, Logan Paul takes so goddamn long to get to the ring that Kevin Owens decides he's going to drive out in a fucking four-wheeler.
Golf cart, Ben. It's a golf cart, Ben, not a four-wheeler.
Okay, he drives out in a fucking golf cart.
Thank you.
And he gets down to the end of the ramp, and then Randy's music hits. And I think Kevin realized that they were going to be strapped for time here. So he floors it backwards and goes all the way back up the ramp and picks Randy up and drives him down to the ring.
And you could see that Randy, like, that was improvised because Randy's like, what are you doing? And he's like, come on, get in, get in. And Randy's like, all right.
Randy Orton plays into it and almost falls off at one point.
He did, yeah.
I was like, oh my God, they're going to kill Randy Orton.
Shout out to Randy Orton for being a good sport right here.
On this goddamn fucking show, they're going to kill Randy Orton of all things.
Yes.
And the first 5 minutes of this was great because all they did was beat the shit out of Logan Paul.
It was the greatest 5 minutes in WWE history.
It was a handicap match for 10 minutes.
Yes. Yes, it was.
And then Randy and Kevin says to Randy, are we doing this now? I don't want to do this right now. Do we have to? And Randy's like, mm-mm. And then they had a hockey fight. And it was great. And
I will say I thought it was interesting that this was the only title match the entire night that one we all correctly predicted, and that, well, not that we all correctly predicted, but this is the only title match of the night where the title didn't change hands.
Like the only title match of the weekend, dude. Except for Rhea.
Yeah. Rhea defended too.
Worth noting that the two youngest champions at this Mania are the two that retained.
Yeah.
Logan and Rhea.
Rhea. Oh.
People don't realize it, but Io is actually like mid-30s. You wouldn't know it.
I mean, she's been wrestling for quite a bit now, so
yeah.
We'll talk about
no
Io in a minute.
rookie.
So this triple threat eventually devolves into chaos. It ends up being a really good like WWE triple threat. Like it's exactly what you think it is. At one point, the Prime bottle interferes and he reveals that it's I Show Speed. And I don't know who that guy is, but I already don't like him.
He's an unhinged streamer.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I had no idea. I was like, wow, KSI looks different this year.
Anyway, he starts barking at Randy Orton, which I thought was unhinged.
This was confusing.
Randy seemingly snaps and gets really mad and just starts tearing him apart.
Can you really blame him? If a guy in a Prime bottle walked up to me and started barking at me, I would probably lose my shit too.
I mean,
Randy literally pulled the Prime bottle off the guy and then picked him up and side slammed him onto the announce table.
And then RKO'd him on the table.
Yeah.
That wasn't everyone like that moment.
Yes.
Randy had seen enough. Randy had seen and heard enough of this bullshit. He was done with it. We got the return of the pop-up powerbomb.
We did, thankfully, yes.
Thank the Lord.
They must have watched the show last night because Devlin was begging for this, and now it's back.
That, and now I just need to get the package pile driver, and we'll be okay. Although, I don't think that's ever going to come back, because I'm pretty sure nobody other than The Undertaker is ever allowed to do a pile driver, but...
you can do it in the WWE 2K24 video game that they were
now
plugging.
With oh, I don't want to spoil anything. With Cody Rhodes on the cover.
Yes. Also, Devlin, remind me, there's a custom cover that somebody made out there with Pharaoh on it.
Oh, very nice.
Instead of Cody.
I would love to see that. Is one shot of him like in his doghouse and the other one's of him like licking his balls or something? just like different poses.
Different unhinged pharaoh poses. Anyway,
Yes,
so the finish comes.
literally barking.
You can
Finish.
summon Pharaoh to like sick him on someone and bite their nuts, help you retain.
Orton hits an RKO out of a pop-up power bomb, which was a fucking sick spot, by the way. Paul chucks Orton out of the ring and then hits a frog splash on KO, retains the title. This was actually a really good match. And I hate to say that because Logan Paul was involved.
I mean, I've said it all along. Like like Logan Paul in real life is a douchebag. He's a douchebag on camera, but there's just something about this guy that he just gets it. Like he picked it up. The only other person that's ever picked up wrestling this quickly has been Kurt Angle, but Angle also had obviously the amateur background, but he was on the Pat McAfee show, and McAfee was like, well, you fought Floyd Mayweather, and now you're going in and you're wrestling, like which is harder? And Logan Paul's like, oh, this is 100 times harder. This is the hardest thing I've ever done. He's like, fighting Floyd Mayweather was easy. He's like, being a WWE superstar is, he was hyping it up, but he's picked it up so naturally, and and I hate it because I hate him, like as a human being, like he's a dickbag, but he's so goddamn entertaining to watch.
You can't deny the level of talent that
Exactly.
he has for this, which
Yeah.
is unfortunate. Like it's good, but also unfortunate at the same time.
Yeah.
But I guess you can't argue.
And
with
clearly,
good
his
talent.
new contract includes more dates. If they're keeping the U.S. title on him, that new contract he signed last year clearly includes a lot more dates than we thought. Because he has been all over television for months. Since he won
that could have just been the build to WrestleMania though, too.
No, but he won the title, and I think he's missed 4 episodes of SmackDown since then. Like total.
Yeah.
So maybe he's not full time, but he's definitely on more than like a Roman or a Brock schedule. He's on like a Edge schedule almost.
Right.
So then we get surprisingly a lot less stalling because I think what happened after this triple threat is Triple H himself got bored. And I think he said, we need to quit stalling. And Bayley comes out and she has like this. She gets carried out by what I assume is 4 future WWE champions. Like 4 jobbers who all bow to her. I called them Bayley Simps. Her 4 Simps carried her to the ring. Or carried her out onto the ramp. And then she does her normal entrance. Sad there was no Paramore. They were really pushing that this was Bayley's first ever singles match at WrestleMania. They did not shut the fuck up about it. The only thing I will say about this match is that Bayley not yelling at Michael Cole at least once was disappointing.
Was it disappointing or was it a breath of fresh air? Because it was different.
Right.
Otherwise, though, this match was fucking exactly what I wanted it to be. It was flawless.
Yeah, I thought this was a really, really, really good match. Like you had a lot of near falls, you had a lot of counters, you had some near finishes that were really good. You had people hitting or attempting their finishers. You had some high spots. You had, EO working on Bayley's knee. You had Bayley hitting the elbow, and it was a great match. It was, like you said last night, low key could have been match of the night.
And I think we talked about this last night too. If there's a match on this card that had 0% of ever being bad, like it had a 0% chance.
Yeah.
This match was never going to be bad.
Right.
It might have been underwhelming, but it was never going to be bad, and it wasn't underwhelming either. This was fucking great. I gave this an A+.
A+ indeed. It really highlighted the talents of these two, and I really appreciated it.
Bayley wins with the rose plant in the end, and we got a new women's champion over on SmackDown. I don't think after what they did last night with Rhea that they could have kept that belt on EO and just gone with it. I just never thought they could do that. Had Becky won last night, I think EO wins tonight, but after Rhea winning last night, that was never going to happen. And the fact that this was the co-main event, like you're not doing that. Dev, what'd you give it this match?
Yeah, I mean, I like Bryce said, it highlighted both women's skills really well. I thought it was a really good match. It was technical. There was good storytelling with the Bailey knee injury, being with her selling her knee injury. I agree with Bryce too that like I'm glad she didn't yell at Michael Cole. Like it didn't seem like the right moment and the right thing to do in that moment. Like it almost seemed like she was just focused on like winning the match, and that would have kind of taken away from it. But yeah, overall I thought this was the match of the night in terms of just quality of just wrestling, and kind of like what you said too, just 0% chance of being bad. I gave it an A+.
There was nothing these two could have done aside from like catastrophic injury that would have made this a bad match.
Yeah.
Like they could not have fucked this up.
It's hard to go wrong with these two.
Right.
By the way, me and Bryce talked about this during the show. Like while we were watching it. This is not EO's last women's title run. Like she will win that belt again, probably multiple times. She is not done. I think Kairi Sane will probably win the belt again before she does. But this was clearly this felt like EO's kind of star-making party at the same time. Even though she lost, this felt like them turning her into a star.
I think the fact that they made, one thing that needs to be pointed out too is the fact that this was the co-main event, or right before the main event, if you don't want to call it a co-main event. I think the placement of this match on the card showed how much faith that Triple H has in both of these women to go out and do the match or give a high quality match that they gave. I mean, you're not going to put this match where he put it right before the biggest main event of all time at WrestleMania if you don't think it's going to deliver.
It makes a big difference when you can see like the booker's faith in the roster in the booking itself.
Correct.
And I think what Devlin was saying is very true.
And it was the same thing with Becky and Rhea last night. He had a lot of confidence in those two to have them open the biggest WrestleMania of all time.
And they delivered, which is excellent.
And also, like, let's not act like Hunter's, invulnerable to like criticism here. He's not. He's got bosses he has to answer to. He knew this show had to be good. He knew that. Because if this show sucked, guess what? He probably doesn't get too many more WrestleManias after this with TKO in charge. Like, because they aren't going to screw around. They've clearly got the right idea.
Well, anyway, and I think when you look at I think when you look at the layout of the whole card too, it was smart, because if you look at WrestleMania in years past, the co-main event or lead up to the main event or match before the main event would have been like the ladder match last night, or it would have been the Philadelphia street fight tonight. Like that was one of the problems that I had with Vince-led WrestleManias, was that just the card placement at times didn't make any sense, and you would have two Dynamite matches and then 4 matches where the crowd was basically asleep, and then you'd have 3 hours later you'd have the main event and the crowd's just completely dead. So kudos to Hunter for realizing that, you start hot, you can get a little bit of a lull with maybe the 2 filler matches and then build it back up with the crescendo that kind of Bryce talked about last night.
Well, anyway, we then get a bunch of celebrity introductions. George Kittle got booed out of the building again.
Well, rightfully so.
Vanessa Hudgens was shown. She was incredibly drunk, like very clearly, very drunk. I'm not sure they should have put her on camera.
I don't think it hurt anything to put her on camera. I mean, she's a celebrity having drinks at a WrestleMania event.
I mean, again, she was clearly intoxicated. Anyway, they announced with the Eagles cheerleaders and Snoop Dogg there that the official attendance was 72,755. By the way, they said a different number like every time.
Well, and it was funny because the number that Snoop said was 75,420, and he put the emphasis on the 420, which I thought was kind of funny. And then when they showed the graphic, it was 75,298.
Funny
This was
joke.
This was wild.
I think we should note that we should probably plug Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre's drink, cleverly called Gin and Juice.
That is clever. So, guys, it's time that we talk about what we're all here to talk about, I think. I don't think
All Elite Wrestling's videos that they're going to show on Wednesday?
No, we're definitely not going to talk about that.
Oh, you meant the main event. Okay, gotcha.
Yes. So, speaking of All Elite Wrestling, we did see someone here who we have not seen since Cody was in All Elite Wrestling, which I thought was wild. I thought this was a wild time to just do that, like out of nowhere.
Right.
So, they don't waste any time going from co-main to main here because they do the attendance announcement and they get like Snoop Dogg and the cheerleaders out of the ring fast. Like they sprinted out of the ring.
Yep.
And then Cody's music hits. We get like this intro thing that was kind of like a remixed version of the intro he had with the like low orchestral that he had in AEW. It was kind of a remix of that with like burning American nightmare flags in the background. And then he comes up and he's got this fucking wild mask on that I think had some sort of meaning, but I couldn't tell you what it was.
It's his American nightmare mask. It's the tattoo he's got on the side of his neck. That skull thing. That's the mask he had on.
The skull with the crown.
Yep. It looked wild. It looked crazy because they were way too zoomed in on him. And then I'm thinking, is he going to wear that all the way to the ring? Or what the fuck are they going to do? How is he going to get this thing off? Because it's too big for him to take off himself. So I thought, is Michael Cole going to have to take this mask off Cody? Because that would be hilarious. No. Instead, what happens is Brandy Rhodes in full AEW attire. Full AEW garb comes out of nowhere and takes this mask off him. And I'm like, huh? You don't work here. I could not believe it.
I mean, he took the mask off himself and handed it to her. But I thought it was really, like you said, like you and I were talking on X when that was happening, and you basically said, like, when I saw Brandy there, I knew Cody was winning.
Yeah, that too. But like, why is Brandy here?
I mean,
Bryce, we spent a lot of time talking about AEW in the first iteration of this show. You hated Brandy Rhodes in AEW.
I thought she wasn't a great wrestler. Yes.
We shit all over this poor woman, and she and we think she's gone, and then the first WrestleMania that Bryce comes back to review his show, here she is again.
She's here to support her husband in like one of the biggest matches he's ever done.
Right.
The main event of WrestleMania.
And will ever do, because I'm telling you, he will not be in the main event of next year's WrestleMania. It's not happening. Anyway.
You don't think they're going to have Seth versus Cody as the main event next year? On night 1 with The Rock and Roman, and night 2?
They shouldn't.
No?
That would mean they're going to put the belt back on Roman, which they should not do. Or they're going to put it on The Rock, which I'd honestly be fine with. But
no, I mean Seth versus Cody for the title, and then Rock versus Roman just individually for no belt.
I don't know. Worth noting, we did not get a location announcement for WrestleMania this weekend.
Probably happening next week, or I should say this week now.
Worth noting.
Honestly, it's probably going to happen tomorrow night on Raw.
It could also be happening in July because they are in St. Paul in July.
That could be it too, yeah.
That is close enough to the point where I think they might be able to justify it. Because tickets won't go on sale till like September anyway.
Is that a Raw or a SmackDown?
That's a Raw.
Okay. Yeah, and your boy needs to buy 8 tickets when they come out, so I'm going to need them to come out.
Well, we still don't know. We'll talk about next year's WrestleMania here in a minute. We've got a lot of time left. So let's talk about this main event, guys. Bloodline rules, Cody versus Roman, and the entrance gave it away that fucking Cody was winning, but Roman comes out, and I think this was Roman's best entrance ever. Because he has a full orchestra and choir playing his music instead of anything going over like the PA system.
I thought that was a big clue that he was gonna lose the match because they've never done that before.
They did the piano bit last year, right?
Yeah.
They did a little bit of it. They went halfway last year. This year, they went, not to fucking make a pun here, they went all in.
Bad
and
joke.
it turned into brawling.
Anyway, speaking of brawls, that's basically what this was. Anyway. So I want to point out, Michael Cole was fantastic tonight.
He was.
I mean, the whole night he was fucking great. But Michael Cole, if anyone is made to call main events like this, it's Michael Cole.
Well, the biggest thing is he understands the moments. You know, he understands how the moment feels. He understands how the crowd feels about the moment. In the moment, he understands what the viewers feel in that moment. It's really hard to watch wrestling and have a moment like that happening, and then have announcers talking over and saying, "Oh, this is his first championship," and this and that and the other, and like instead of just letting that moment set and just enjoying that moment. And whether you like Michael Cole or not, like that's WWE is the best at that in the world. Like they understand and celebrate and let you soak in those moments better than any other company.
New Japan used to do it pretty good, but they are getting worse at it, unfortunately. So this was chaos. Exactly what we thought it was going to be. Just mass fucking chaos everywhere.
The predictions weren't that far off in terms of the chaoticness either.
No.
Like,
no, they were not.
I think Devlin's prediction was damn near spot on, except for the Stone Cold bit.
Yep.
Which I guarantee you they tried to get Stone Cold. I guarantee it.
Yeah, they did. I'm sure they probably did.
Now, what they did ended up working out probably better.
Yeah.
Than that would have, so I'm not gonna complain. So this starts as like a normal Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes match. Like exactly how you think that would start. And then they started going hog wild. The first bit of interference comes after they've already fought on the outside and fought their way back into the ring. And at one point, right before the interference, Reigns says, "I'm going to send you to Hollywood with the rest of them. This is my company, bitch."
I did think it was funny that both of the first 2 interferences happened in the middle of a triple crossroads.
It was poetic when you consider how last year ended.
like like almost on the same one too, each time.
And it was poetic that the match ended with a triple crossroads.
Spoiler alert. Goddamn. Anyway, so Cody goes for that first triple crossroads, and here comes Jimmy Uso out from under the ring, I presume. And he super kicks the shit out of Cody. Like,
yeah, he was. That one connected definitely.
Like potentially the best super kick he's ever done, and that's saying something for him. And then Jey Uso's music hits, and this place,
The
if it had
roof
a
just
roof,
goes crazy. Yeah, the roof just gets blown off the place.
if
There
it
were a
had
lot
one.
of yeets.
They were yeeting themselves into a frenzy.
So Jimmy and Jay start fighting on the outside because Roman is confused. I don't know why. Roman should have just covered Cody right there. But, we're not here to debate the logic of this. And this whole brawl between Jimmy and Jay ends with Jay spearing Jimmy off the ramp through a table. That was fucking wild. I was like, holy shit, they're dead.
That was a great spot. That was a great spot. It was a great high spot and a great way to elevate the match.
Roman gets more heat. Cody gets back on top. Looks like he's going to finish it off one more time. And then here comes Solo Sikoa, hits him with a spike. And it is at this point I'm starting to think, is Cody winning? Because Solo's out there for an awful long time before anything happens. And they hit the spear and the spike combo. And they start just going ape shit on Cody. And Cody's getting the hell beat out of him. And eventually John Cena says, I have seen enough. And this man, John Cena's music hits. And he ran the fastest I've ever seen him run in 20 plus years down to the ring. And he immediately beats the shit out of Solo, puts him through a table, AA's Roman, which I actually didn't like that part. As like, okay, if you're going to do this, fine.
I liked it, but I was glad that Roman kicked out of it because I think if you're going to have Cody win that match, it needs to be on Cody's finisher, not somebody else's.
Yeah, exactly. And right as Solo goes through the table, the Rock's music hits, and I think I said to both of you, we're about to get Rock versus Cena 3 in the middle of Roman versus Cody 2.
Yep.
Well, Cena gets laid out by the Rock. And then the Shield's music hits, and for a brief moment, I thought, oh my God, no, they didn't. They did not just poach Jon Moxley. For as funny as that would have been. For all reasons that are comedy. Seth comes out. He gets immediately whipped around and beat up. He looks like a bum. And it's at this point, I expected the glass to break. What did you guys expect at this point? Glass break or what we got?
I mean, I definitely thought that we were going to get Austin Rock 4 in the middle of Reigns Rhodes 2. But I will say, I was just as happy with what we got versus what we didn't get. Now, granted, I will say that Austin's my favorite wrestler of all time. I have a Stone Cold tattoo, but what we got. I loved.
It was unexpected, but no one complained.
Correct.
I thought there was a good chance we were going to see Taker. I didn't know if it was going to be in this match or the AJ match. And the only reason it would have been in the AJ match is the Boneyard thing.
Yeah, but that's a 4-year callback. I mean, that's going back.
I mean, the Rock thing's like a 20+ year callback, dude.
Yeah, but that's one I feel like a lot more people would remember.
Correct. Yeah.
Also, they've kind of stopped referencing anything that happened in the Performance Center. So,
yeah.
other than Drew's title win. That's the only thing they
Right.
refer to that happened there.
Correct.
The gong goes off, and
The
Rock.
place goes nuts. The place just absolutely like the crowd just went to another level because that was one of those moments where I think legitimately I think the crowd kind of knew that The Rock was probably going to come out, and I think they probably had a feeling Cena was going to come out just because the storyline. I think it took it to another level when the gong hit because I don't think anybody saw Taker coming out.
I thought if Taker was going to come out, and I think I told either you, Devlin, or Bryce this. I thought if Taker came out that he was going to do just keep rolling.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to come out on the bike
Do the American Badass Undertaker.
because that's all he's done since he retired. That's all we've ever seen him as.
He hasn't done that gimmick in like 15 years, Ben.
No, when he came out and did the thing with LA Knight and Bray Wyatt last year, he was the American Badass.
I mean, like on a regular basis.
Yeah, but he said anytime we saw him on TV, he said on like an interview or something that the only way we'd see him from now on is if he's the badass.
Yeah.
Which I guess money talks, so that didn't happen.
True. Plus, I mean, that's kind of his event too. Like you think WrestleMania, you think The Undertaker.
So he hits just the craziest chokeslam you've ever seen on Rock. Rock looked dead. Rock sold the shit out of it. And then the lights go out again. And we don't know what happened to The Rock at that point. I presume the Undertaker kidnapped him.
See, it's funny because he's there later on, and I don't really know where he came from. It's like he disappeared and then he just like rematerialized off camera. Because when the match was over, like The Rock was like helping Roman up, and he seemingly came from somewhere.
Maybe Taker just held him under the ring, like a hostage situation until he heard the 3 and the bell go.
He was giving him a hug underneath the ring.
Like, oh, good to see you, brother. Too bad it's got to be like this, huh? Anyway. Rhodes hits a triple crossroads finally. As Roman is distracted by Seth Rollins being there, and 1, 2, 3. And I didn't think that was it. I thought we had another 10 minutes at least.
Yeah, it was like 9:30 when that match ended. I was like, wow, we have a half an hour left. Like something's gonna happen.
And I was fully expecting something to happen. Like
something kind of did happen, but not what we kind of happened. I don't want to say it was significant because it really wasn't, but
yeah, Bruce Pritchard came out.
Yeah, Bruce Pritchard came out and got booed out of the building. Nobody wanted him there. Let me put it that way. Potentially half the talent in the ring didn't want him there. Anyway, Brandy hits the ring. Everybody hits the ring at this point. Cena, Uso, Zayn, LA Knight, for some reason, I still can't figure out why he was there.
He's a baby face.
He is a baby. This was like Mankind winning the title on Raw level fucking people in the ring.
Yeah.
Every baby face in the company comes out. Well, every big baby face anyway.
That's not true. The Miz and R-Truth weren't there. It felt incomplete.
The Miz is not a fucking baby face, you goober.
You didn't? Did you not hear the reaction last night when they won? I'd say that was a babyface reaction.
Bryce, is Miz a babyface?
And you're just annoyed because of the Snickers commercial with the Miz. Let's be honest here.
You need a Snickers.
Ben, I think you need a Snickers right now.
Yeah, Ben, you're not yourself when you're hungry.
All you do is make fun of the Miz.
Anyway,
and Orange Cassidy.
I'm going to continue recapping the end of this show now, fuckheads. Anyway, where's Russ when you need him? Anyway,
Russ would be agreeing with me.
This show's off the rails. Anyway, So all the baby faces are in the ring. Cody gives the belt to his mom, as he said he would. And Cody gets lifted on the babyface's shoulders one time. They put him down. Cody grabs a microphone. That's when he calls out Pritchard and Hunter. They at one point Triple H hugged Cody Rhodes, and they had a very odd head-to-head moment where it looked like they were going to smooch. That definitely happened. Zayn and Orton went to pick up Cody again, and Cody was definitely telling them no, and they definitely just did it anyway. Rhodes gets out of the ring after they put him down, and he shakes Corey's hand, he shakes Pat's hand, and then he gives Michael Cole just a big hug.
Well, and the other thing too is, like we said earlier, Michael Cole on commentary set this up beautifully. Like he's known Cody since he was like 7 years old. He's watched him grow up. He watched him as Stardust and all these other iterations. And when Cody left and came back, and his story is complete now. And it was just a really nice moment. And I thought Michael Cole really sold it. Just fantastic.
So at one point, right before the end of the show here, Michael Cole said a line that made me laugh really hard.
I love professional wrestling.
No, he didn't just say that. He said, God damn it, I love professional wrestling. That is exactly what he said. And I was like, did Michael Cole in the year 2024 just say, God damn it, I love professional wrestling on a WWE show? What the hell is happening here?
People are having fun again.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we talked about last night. Like you can tell that things are a lot more loose and relaxed, and you got Stephanie making tit jokes, and you got Drew saying fuck on social media, and you got Michael Cole saying God damn it, I love professional wrestling. But the thing about it was, I thought in that moment that it totally fit the moment. Like it wasn't out of place. It didn't seem offensive. It just really fit that moment, and it fit what a lot of people at home were feeling too.
Devlin, did you hear him say the God damn it part? Because his mic definitely clipped at one point when he said that.
I did not know. I heard him say I love professional wrestling.
Well, what happened was the crowd was so goddamn loud, and he was trying to talk over them, and his voice was definitely giving out. Because he was having to yell for the last probably 20 minutes of the show.
Yeah.
So his voice was definitely going. And this show goes off the air. Guys, what do we give WrestleMania nights 1 and 2 combined? Bryce.
Out of 10, or are we like doing the letters?
We're doing the letters, buddy.
I had a lot of fun with this show.
It's because you watched it with me.
Overall, it was pretty fun. When you mash, if I think of the entire show as like part 1 and 2 together, I would give it an A, just because it was the part 1 led into part 2 perfectly, and I think it worked really well with the way everything was structured. And I think that the whole night 1 being kind of the warm up and then going into night 2 being much better, I think was perfectly fine. And I think that everything was laid out the best they could.
Dev?
Yeah, I agree. I think I think night 1 was kind of the precursor for night 2. Night 1 wasn't bad in any way, shape, or form. I don't think any of us gave it lower than a B plus. I give the whole show a B plus. I would give it higher, but you just had some clunkers. I mean, those filler matches were just terrible. There was a little too much Snoop Dogg for my liking. There was a little too much just kind of filler. But the top moments, the Rhea versus Becky, the main event tag match last night, the triple threat match tonight, the Roman versus Cody tonight, the world heavyweight title, like those big moments did exactly what they needed to do. They delivered in the way that fans expected and that fans wanted. I feel like this is honestly like when the show went off the air, I had two glaring thoughts. One was I feel like this is the first time I've ever watched a WrestleMania, at least in decades, where the company listened to what the fans wanted. Like there weren't any outrageous winners. Like you didn't get a shitty screwy finish in the main event like you did last year where they called an audible in the fucking middle of the match and everybody rioted. And then also I thought like I really love professional wrestling. Like and I told you this last night after the other guys had left, like when you look at something like The Miz or John Cena or not The Miz, but like R-Truth
R-Truth.
or R-Truth and John Cena, these
The
guys are in
Rock.
their and Rock, and these guys are in their 50s and they're coming back at a high level and doing it on the biggest stage. Like you don't get that in baseball or football or hockey or basketball or MMA. Like that's what makes professional wrestling the best fucking sport on the planet. Like it's so great. And Michael Cole perfectly delivered that line.
This
I just
was
I
the
thought it was the first time that I really felt the, that the company listened to what the fans want, then delivered.
this was in my mind at least of the WrestleManias I've personally seen, this is second only to WrestleMania 17. And you could throw WrestleMania 30 in that conversation. But let's not forget that show was clunky too.
Right.
And by the way, I love WrestleMania 17. That show's clunky. That's not a perfect show. It fell apart at the end. Let's not forget that. That show fell apart right at the end.
It did.
And it left a sour taste in your mouth. Bryce, where does this rank for you on your WrestleManias?
I feel like I haven't seen enough WrestleManias to accurately place it, but I will say that this felt like one of the more well put together WrestleManias that I've seen. Even if it like wasn't my favorite, I would say that it was very cohesive.
This felt put together in a way that WWE hasn't in a long time.
But it's like what Devlin said. It felt like they listened, and like even if there were parts of the show I didn't like, which there was, the show in its whole was still very enjoyable for me, and it did feel like they listened. And like, no, it's probably not my favorite, but in that regard, it definitely puts it up there just because it had the fun factor. It was fun.
Guys, it definitely felt like the industry shifted tonight. Like in a
That
big
was
way.
that was the other thing I was going to say is it did feel like
it felt different.
It did. It felt like the end of an old era. Like they were getting rid and kind of scrubbing clean that or scrubbing away that an old era and getting into a new era. And Hunter said,
those shows were those shows in the past historically. Those shows where they're scrubbing the old away and bringing in the new have never been perfect. They've always had their problems.
And I think when like we look back at this show in a couple of years, a few years, I think that ultimately we'll look back at it as like a time of transition.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think we'll look fondly upon it.
It's like WrestleMania 13, right? At the time, that was viewed as a bit of a clunker. And that was kind of viewed as a one-match show.
Yeah. You had Brett versus Owen.
It was Brett versus Austin at 13.
Oh, Brett versus Austin. Yeah. I'm sorry.
That was
Brett. Yeah.
But that was viewed as the start of the Austin run, right? The Austin era. The Attitude Era kind of started there, it felt like.
Yeah.
Although a lot of people would argue it started the next year at 14, and for the most part, you're right.
As an Austin fan, I would say it started more at 14, but I would say it kicked into high gear at 13.
You saw the writing on the wall at 13.
You did, yeah.
Things were coming more into focus because remember the company had been out of focus for so long at that point.
Right.
And that's not a perfect show. I know that. 13 is a clunker. And in so many ways, WrestleMania 40 in spots was also a clunker. But both nights started and ended perfectly. Like,
the biggest thing was like Bryce said, I didn't feel offended at any point in this WrestleMania, and I can't say that for other WrestleManias in the
WrestleMania
past.
17, you definitely felt offended by the end.
Like I've had other WrestleManias in the past 5, 10, 15 years where I've had spots where I've either felt offended, not like offended, but just like that's offensive to me as a wrestling fan, and like it doesn't make sense, and what and why they did that. But this just really, like Bryce kind of hit the nail on the head. Like this really felt cohesive. It felt like it was the start of a new era. It's a transition period. You've got a new champion. You've got, I mean, for all intents and purposes, Cody's the face of the company now. Out with the old and in with the new, and I think, before Ben and I, or before we went on the air, Ben and I were talking. No matter how you feel about Roman, as champion, whether you love him, hate him, didn't like the bloodline, love the bloodline, whatever, you have to give the man his dues. He was a champion for 1,600 and some odd days. It's the fourth longest title reign ever, behind Bruno Sammartino, Bob Backlund, and Hulk Hogan. And in order to be able to do that in today's modern era, especially, is absolutely remarkable. So acknowledge our tribal chief, even though we lost. Acknowledge
Bryce,
him,
acknowledge him.
because that's, I mean, that's a real milestone. And this wasn't just a WrestleMania main event title change. This was a historic night.
And it needed to be in a lot of ways. Okay, so we've got not a whole ton of time left. I think we've got like 30 minutes left probably. I Devlin, I know you got something you want to talk about at the end here, and I'm going to save that for the end for a very specific reason. I do want to ask you guys, does this firmly, like, they were already so firmly cemented, but does tonight and where it seems like they're going ensure WWE is going to stay on top for the foreseeable future? Because this felt like them locking AEW out of a way back towards the top. Like it felt like them saying, you're not going to be competitive with us for at least another 5 years. Like you're not going to get as closest to us in the demo as you were in 2021. You're not catching us. Sorry, dude. We're leaving.
I think they were focused on their own show and doing what they needed to do.
No, I agree, but isn't that is an underlying thing here? That
I think it definitely sent a message that when WWE
has their shit together,
is at its best, like it feels unlike anything else in professional wrestling.
Do you guys, Bryce, I want your opinion on this especially, and Devlin too. Do you guys think that this weekend helps WWE more, like in terms of image, with the whole Vince stuff still looming in the background of like the lawsuit and everything? Or do you think this is merely a Band-Aid on the problem?
I think calling it a Band-Aid is a little short-sighted. But I mean, it's I think it's good to view this as like a turning point and then coming back to it a little bit later and looking back on it. I think it's too soon to say that this is like a Band-Aid or like the solution to any problem, so to speak.
Well, it definitely felt like
it feels like something's happening, and so far it's good. And that's more than a lot of the people have had in a while. So I think that if they can build off of it, it'll be the beginning of something really good.
But with Vince gone now, right?
Things are looking up. That's for sure. We are on the rise up and not the decline. Which, at least from everything we've seen so far.
Let's not forget, in 2021, it felt like this company was going to die. Maybe not financially, but like
I don't think it felt. I didn't feel in 2021 like they were going to die, but I felt like the gap was closing rapidly between them and AEW. I didn't feel like they were going to die, but I felt like they were more desperate than they ever had been.
It felt like the mismanagement was really starting to get the better of the roster.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like having a sports team that is loaded with talent and then just having the most bum ass scrub coaching staff that just can't put anything together. And that's what it kind of felt like. Like it
felt like the Philadelphia
Aaron
Eagles.
Boone, sorry.
It felt like
Aaron
ineptitude.
Boone.
Is what it felt like. It felt like how do you mess up with this much like talent?
WWE has never had a talent problem. Except for, you could say 2007, 2008.
I think that's what made that period of time so frustrating, is like you looked at the roster up and down and you're just like, whoa, what's going on here? Like how can you like maintain mediocrity for so long with a roster like this? Like it just didn't make sense, you know?
Yeah. Okay. So I think we all agree that this was the best wrestling weekend we've had as fans in
a hot minute,
a long time. I would say this tops Punk's comeback weekend when he wrestled Darby, only because of the historical perspective of it, of 1600 days, it's over. Devlin, would you agree with that?
It's tough to say. It was definitely a historic weekend for WWE fans, WWE as a company, their talent. Yes. Is it the best wrestling weekend that we've had in years? It's tough to say. There's been a lot of great shows. AEW's had a lot of great shows. There's been a lot of great New Japan shows. There's been a lot of great indie shows. I don't really want to compare them, but I will say
WWE and Backlash last year too. Like,
yeah, and this is definitely, I will say, from start to finish, this is probably the best WWE show that they've put on in probably 3 years or more.
And Backlash last year does get close, because that show was in so many ways exactly what it needed to be. All right, last segment of the night here. I know we're keeping everybody up late, and I do not apologize for that, but I also do at the same time. Devlin, I know you had like a trivia thing you wanted to do right here at the end, just as like a fun bonus segment. I'll let you take the floor here. Bryce, get ready to get stumped, because that's probably what's going to happen.
Devlin's better at this kind of stuff than me, but I will
shoot your shot
intently.
So Roman Reigns just completed the third longest title reign fourth longest title reign in the modern era of WWE. If you include last night's defense with The Rock against Cody and Seth,
title wasn't on the line.
Okay, yeah. Well, let's do this. If you count his title defenses, not counting WrestleMania this year, so up through Royal Rumble this year, in his 4-year reign, he has had 31 title defenses. He was 31-0 coming into tonight. Your job, gentlemen, is to name me as many wrestlers that he beat in that time.
Fuck.
And I will give you the
shit.
I will give you the event and the date, and you guys have to tell me who he beat. So his
are we a team here? Can we be a team here? Because thank you.
Yeah, your first. It started September 27th, 2020 at the Clash of Champions, And we're going to go through Royal Rumble 2024. So we're not counting
God.
WrestleMania
Oh,
tonight.
Jesus.
2020 Clash of Champions seems like so long ago, even though it really
feels
wasn't.
like an eternity ago. Okay, let's go.
And here's the thing: if he beats somebody more than once, you only have to give me that person's name once.
That's like a lot of people.
Yeah, he's definitely done that multiple times at this
point. He's lapped the roster, so yeah, that'll be fine.
He did. There's at least 2 wrestlers that he beat 3 times. There's 1 wrestler he beat 4 times.
What?
So
damn it.
Yes.
All right, Ben. 2020 Clash Champions. Let's think here.
That was the first match with Jey Uso.
I will say this includes pay-per-views, SmackDowns, and Raws, and like Saudis, and like all their
okay. The SmackDown ones are going to be tough.
Okay, so his first title defense in September 2020. It was a singles match at Clash of Champions.
That was Jey Uso.
Yes, that was Jey Uso.
And so we've got Jey like 3 times now. Like the next, like this one, he fought him again at Hell in a Cell, and then he fought him again at SummerSlam last year. So
yep. So you've got Jey Uso. In between the 2 Jey Uso matches in September of 2020 and October of 20 at Hell in a Cell, there was a SmackDown title defense.
Is that Braun Strowman?
Yes.
Damn, Ben, you're nailing these.
So
I remember that match. That match was awful.
It was Uso. It was Jey Uso, Braun Strowman, Jey Uso. And then you get into December 2022.
What?
You have a guy who he feuded with through the start of 2021, and he beat him in 3 straight pay-per-views.
Oh, I remember this. I got so mad at this. It's Kevin Owens.
Yes. Or 2 straight pay-per-views. He beat him at TLC 2020.
It was a SmackDown and 2 pay-per-views is what it was.
Yep, he beat him at TLC 2020, a SmackDown and a steel cage match, and a last man standing at Royal Rumble when Roman got handcuffed and somehow
the handcuff. Okay, so the last Kevin Owens match was the fucking handcuff one.
That SmackDown that he fought KO on had like a weird like subtitle to it, like something stupid. Does your notes say what that is?
It doesn't. It was like it just says it was the Christmas episode in 2020.
Oh yeah, and they named it something super weird. I don't. It was like SmackDown Smash Your Balls or something like that. I don't know. Keep moving.
Super SmackDown.
Whatever it was, I don't know. Next match.
Okay, so you got Royal Rumble 2021 Last Man Standing, the handcuffs match, January 2021 against Kevin Owens. Those are his 4th, 5th, and 6th title defenses.
Okay, we're moving.
Yep. So now you've got Elimination Chamber 2021.
Oh shit.
Fastlane 2021.
No.
And then you've got, and those are against the same opponent.
Bryce, we reviewed these shows.
I know we did. That's the thing.
We reviewed these shows.
This is actually, he wrestled the same opponent 4 times in a row. 4 pay-per-views in a row. Elimination Chamber, Fastlane, WrestleMania, Night 2, and SmackDown. So I guess 3 pay-per-views and a SmackDown.
Oh no.
Okay. Can me and Bryce like confer here?
Yes, please.
Okay, Bryce, I've got it narrowed down.
Okay.
So Edge won the Royal Rumble that year, so we know it's not Edge.
No, it definitely wasn't Edge, especially not that many times.
I have 2 thoughts here. I think it's Daniel Bryan.
That would have made sense because that was like his last big run before he left the company.
Remember, they shoehorned him into that main event.
They did, yeah.
Is it Daniel Bryan?
Final answer?
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan is correct.
Hey,
you fucking asshole.
Hey.
So
how many strikes do we get, by the way?
Elimination Chamber 2021. In February of 21, he beats Daniel Bryan. He beats him again at Fastlane with Edge as the special enforcer.
That was such a bad.
Then he pins him, stacks him, and smashes him on WrestleMania 37 Night 2.
Can I point out that after WrestleMania 37 Night 2, Roman cut like the greatest promo of his life on that show?
And then the one that you guys were talking about, SmackDown, these title defenses were 7, 8, 9, and 10. So number 10 was SmackDown, April 30th, 2021. It was a singles match, and it was Daniel Bryan's SmackDown career on the line. So you guys would.
Oh, we're getting into weird shit here too, because there's a bunch of SmackDown defenses coming up here somewhere.
Oh, it's
like
about to get a whole it's about to get a whole lot weirder. Title defense number 11 was at WrestleMania Backlash in a singles match.
Who?
In May of 2021.
Oh no. Okay. Okay, he fights Cesaro somewhere in here, dude. Like right in here, he fights Cesaro.
Wasn't that Backlash though?
That's a good. Wait, where did he fight Big E? Because that's in here too.
I feel like Cesaro would be a SmackDown one, and I feel like Big E might be Backlash.
No, Cesaro was on pay-per-view for sure.
Was it?
Yeah. Wait. When did you say this was, Dev? What month?
He does not have a Big E title defense.
Okay, so it's not then it's Cesaro.
WrestleMania Backlash, May 16th, 2021, and his singles match opponent was Antonio Cesaro.
Wait a second. Is the next one like that stupid SmackDown Hell in a Cell match? Because that's right in here.
I can't tell. That is the next title defense, but who was it against?
That was Ray. That was such a stupid fucking match.
Yes. June 18th. Yep, Rey Mysterio.
Bryce, do you remember the historic rant we did on that fucking Hell in a Cell episode?
It was stupid.
That was
like some of the worst camera work I've ever fucking seen.
And Ray got hurt in that match. People forget Ray got hurt in that match too.
You know it's bad when Bryce drops an F-bomb and just says that was fucking stupid.
I remember it. Like you mentioned it, and like if it pops in my head that quickly, it usually means it was either really good or just a pile of garbage. And that one was a pile of garbage.
And Ray got hurt in that match, and it was a shit match, and Ray got hurt like really bad.
No one won.
He did. His next, that was title defense number 12. So you're a little bit over.
Ray twice, right? Or am I wrong about that?
You are. I think you're wrong about that. So he's got Rey Mysterio. He's coming out of the Hell in a Cell match 1 month to the day, July 18th,
where he's on TV. Like, by the way, I want to point out he was on TV like once after that Ray title defense, and between his next one, he's on TV like one time.
This is where the part-time becomes real.
No. Yes. So July 18th, 2021, he has a singles match at Money in the Bank 2021.
That was Edge.
That was Edge.
And he fight Edge like another 20 times. And then it's Cena.
And then it is Cena at SummerSlam, yep. And then after that, you've got a SmackDown match.
That's Riddle.
That is not Riddle. Go fuck yourself for being confident like that.
It's not
consulting
Riddle.
With your teammate.
That's not Riddle?
Not that one. September 3rd, 2021, singles match on SmackDown.
SmackDown.
He faced the same person at the Extreme Rules pay-per-view later that month.
Is that Finn Balor?
Yes.
Oh, God. That fucking Extreme Rules match. Oh, my God.
So
Bryce, do you remember that fucking Extreme Rules match where the rope snapped?
Was that the last Demon match?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where the Demon finally got killed.
Until last year when they brought him out inside Hell in a Cell and he got beat again.
Yes.
So the Demon doesn't mean anything anymore.
Correct.
The Edge defense was 13, Cena was 14, Finn Balor on SmackDown was 15, and the Demon was 16. You guys are officially halfway through.
Bryce, we did it. We're making it, bud. We're lost from here, though.
This is where things become a blur, I feel like.
Yeah, this is where shit gets messy.
October 21st, 2021, he has a singles match at Crown Jewel.
Oh, blow me.
I'm not going to.
Was this Goldberg?
This is not Goldberg.
Oh.
Fuck. I thought that was it.
Okay.
He does face Goldberg later, but this is This is the first of his 3 title defenses against this competitor.
Is it the piss lover Brock Lesnar?
It is Brock Lesnar, Crown Jewel 2021.
Okay. Thank
And then
God.
he takes 6 weeks off. He comes back on SmackDown on a singles match and has a
What?
singles match for title defense number 18.
Who? Wait. No, wait. Where is
I'm
Riddle?
waiting.
Is this
waiting.
2021 still? Hang
Yeah,
on, is this still?
Yes, listen to what I'm saying. December 3rd, 2021. A singles match on SmackDown. This is title defense number 18.
Oh, this is someone stupid too. This is right before he fought Seth the first time.
I will give you a clue. The person he wrestled, the answer to this match is someone who wrestled this weekend.
Bobby Lashley.
No.
Bobby Lashley's a great guess, but that is incorrect.
Shit.
I knew he fought Lashley, but not for the title, I think.
Who else would it be?
It's not Drew.
It's not one of the Street Profits, is it?
No.
It is not.
Was this the match he did with AJ?
It is not.
Okay, fuck you. Okay, it's not Randy. It's not Kevin.
This man
Not Drew?
later on joined the bloodline.
Sami Zayn?
Yes.
Hey!
Sami Zayn.
I forgot all about that. Okay.
December 3rd, 2021, he defeated Sami Zayn in a singles match on SmackDown.
I feel like that was probably a good match too.
It was. We move into Royal Rumble 2022.
Oh shit.
He January 29th, it's a singles match.
Who the fuck? Oh wait, this is Seth. This is Seth.
This is Seth. This is the one time where Roman actually lost, but did not relinquish his title.
Yeah, because they did that stupid rope break finish. Anyway, moving on.
They did.
And then he wrestles Brock again.
February 19th in a singles match at Elimination Chamber 2022. Huh? I said Elimination Chamber 2022.
Oh no, I actually don't know. Oh, we're so close to the Bryce. I have no idea. Help me.
I don't think I even watched this show.
One would not blame you.
This is a former world champion.
Randy Orton.
No.
It isn't. That is a great guess, but it is not Randall Keith Orton.
Randy's on Raw at this point.
I'm surprised you even knew that.
He's teaming with Riddle right now, or is about to. You know what? I'm going to say a funny guess. Don't take this seriously. Jackie Redmond?
Jackie Redmond is correct. Her and her tag team partner, CM Punk, No, Elimination Chamber 2022. So his previous match, he lost to Rollins at the Rumble. His next title defense is at WrestleMania Night 2, but he has against Brock. So WrestleMania 38 Night 2 is the next one. In between those two,
this is Goldberg. This is fucking Goldberg.
This is fucking Goldberg.
God damn it, I hated that match.
That match was pretty bad.
That was in Saudi, too. Dude, that was in Saudi.
So
that's why I didn't fucking remember that.
Seth's title defense, or Roman's match against Seth, was 19th. Goldberg was 20. Brock was 21. So you guys have 10 left.
Bryce, we're so close, dude.
So April 3rd, 2022 was WrestleMania Night 2 against Brock. That was that was his second match against Brock.
By the way, can I give some context here? He was supposed to lose the fucking belt at day one and didn't because he got COVID.
That was in 2023, not 2022.
Day one was in 2022, buddy.
Oh, was it? Oh,
Yeah. That feels like
okay.
an eternity ago.
So then he takes a couple of months off and does not wrestle again until June 17th. A singles match on WWE SmackDown.
Oh, shit. This was in Minnesota. I know for a fact. I think this is Riddle.
You want to confer?
Bryce, what do you think?
Riddle.
It's either Riddle or fucking what's his nuts.
Riddle or who?
I think it. Dude, who else could it be? It's literally because he wrestled Riddle on a SmackDown.
I think, yeah, I think this one's Riddle, honestly.
Final answer?
Yeah.
Matt Riddle is correct. This was also Riddle's last chance at the title as long as Roman retained his championship.
It was also a piece of shit match that went like 8 minutes.
Which means now that Cody's champion Riddle can come back and go for the title again.
They will never.
Then you have July 30th, 2022 at SummerSlam. Oh. You have a last man standing match.
This is Brock.
You have this involved a tractor.
That was definitely Brock. I remember the fucking tractor bit where he lifts the ring up.
Wait, we already got Brock, dude. We already got Brock.
Yeah, you already did. Yeah. And then Clash at the Castle 2022.
That's Drew. Yeah.
Okay. You guys are at 24 out of 32. You're doing outstanding.
Are we doing better than you thought we would?
Yes. You're doing worse, and Bryce is doing much better. I thought you'd get them all. And I thought you'd actually get less, and I thought Bryce would get more. Okay. November 5th, 2022, Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia.
This is Logan Paul.
Are you sure that's the Logan Paul match?
Or is this? I feel like he fought Bobby Lashley at some point.
No, he didn't.
So I'm just tweaking when I'm thinking that.
Yes.
Okay. I feel like I don't know if he faced Logan Paul at Crown Jewel, though.
Yes, he did.
That doesn't seem right.
This is post Triple H coming in, so Logan Paul is fucking all over television by this point.
I will tell you he did face Logan Paul, but I'm not going to tell you at what event or when. But he did face Logan Paul.
I'll go with your answer on this one, Ben, just because I don't know what else it could be at this point.
I can't think of anything else. It's Logan Paul.
It is Logan Paul.
Okay.
It was at one of those Saudi shows. I can't remember if it was this one or the one they did in February, but.
So Royal Rumble 2023 was a singles match.
Against Kevin Owens.
Yep. He reignited that feud temporarily. We had Elimination Chamber last year.
Whoa, Sami Zayn.
Correct.
And then
we
get into some bullshit, ladies and gentlemen, because here comes the first Cody Rhodes match, and this shit sucked.
Called an audible in the middle of the fucking ring. Go fuck.
Can you imagine? Can we talk about that for a minute? How fucking ballsy do you have to be at fucking 70 some odd years old to be like, oh, we need to change the finish, pal?
I think ballsy is the wrong word for this. I think stupid is more fitting.
Fucking asinine? Fucking
I agree
idiotic?
with Bryce. I agree with Bryce.
Like he heard one person cheer Roman and he's like, oh, we got to change the finish.
August 5th, 2023.
Wait, he doesn't defend again until fucking SummerSlam?
He does not. He goes from April to August without a title defense.
Why the fuck did this man retain the title?
I believe this is John Cena.
No, that was not John Cena.
That's Jey Uso again.
That is Jey Uso. That's where Jimmy pulls Jey out and super kicks him in the face, kicking off the rivalry that ended this weekend.
And absolutely pissing off every Jey Uso fan to ever exist.
Correct. And then So his matches in 2023, he had January Royal Rumble, he had February Elimination Chamber, he had WrestleMania Night 2,
except for
and then
Survivor.
he had SummerSlam 2023, and then he took another 3 months off and waited until November and had a Crown Jewel match.
What?
Yep. He had a Crown Jewel match last November.
I don't remember this at all.
It's
Devlin,
a single. It was a singles match.
Can I ask a context question? How much did I fucking hate this match on Twitter?
Immensely.
How angry was I when they booked this? On a scale from 1
8
to
out
10.
of 10. 8 out of 10.
Was this LA Knight?
Yes.
That match wasn't very good.
I like how you were able to guess it based on how upset you were about it.
Yeah, I know.
I think that's very telling.
I wasn't mad that it was LA Knight. I was mad with how they booked the match because they gave Roman like all the offense, and LA Knight just got the shit kicked out of him the whole time.
Okay, so that was title defense number 30. So you guys are almost there. You basically have one left because we're not going to do We're not going to do tonight's or this weekend's. So January 2024.
Thank God we're not counting house shows. Holy shit.
Roman doesn't do house shows. Don't act like he does.
Well, he did, and then he quit.
Fatal 4-way match at Royal Rumble this year.
Oh, shit.
This is your last one.
This is like the only 4-way he ever defended the title in, by the way.
Yes. The other one was the 3-way with Daniel Bryan and Edge. That was the other one where it was a
That was a much better match.
Yes. He smashed him, stacked him, and pinned him.
Okay, we've already got one here. We've got LA Knight. So, okay. Bryce?
Was LA Knight in this match?
Yeah, he was.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because it was LA Knight, Roman, Randy, double fuck. Who the fuck was the fourth guy? Oh shit. Oh, it was AJ. That's what it was. It was Eli Drake, fucking Randy Orton, and AJ Styles against Roman Reigns. It was basically a handicap match for like 90% of it.
That's your final answer?
Yes, Dad.
That's correct.
Thank God.
So he is beaten in order: Jey Uso, Braun Strowman, Jey Uso, Kevin Owens, Daniel Bryan, and Edge, Daniel Bryan, Cesaro, Rey Mysterio, Edge, John Cena, Finn Balor, Demon Finn Balor, Brock Lesnar, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, Goldberg, Brock Lesnar, Matt Riddle, Brock Lesnar, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, LA Knight, Orton, Knight, Styles, and that is the reign of Roman.
How did he never have a match with Bobby Lashley?
Well, that's what we talked about last night. Like, that's why I said, like, I feel so bad for Bobby because he never got put into
physically, right? Physically, Lashley's like the only guy who could believably beat Roman on his own.
Yeah.
And it would have made so much sense. That's why I was tweaking. I was like, I feel like he did. I feel like he did at some
Bryce,
point,
you know what
but
you're
he
thinking
didn't.
of? You know what you're thinking of, Bryce?
What? Do you remember Brock? You're thinking of Brock versus Lashley.
Yeah. That's
what he's thinking of. He's thinking of Bobby with a belt. Because do you remember, Bryce, when they were in the fucking Thunderdome and the Miz won the goddamn WWE Championship at Elimination Chamber?
Yeah, and he had it for like 3 days.
And he had it for like a week. And the ratings were at such a fucking all-time low for that one Raw that he had the belt that they had to switch it the next fucking week because I think they legitimately were going to keep it on until WrestleMania. And then they saw the ratings for the one episode that he had the belt and they were like, fuck that.
That's when they were doing like the Hurt Business.
Yes. And they were trying to see who could get out of, like, nobody could get out of the Hurt Lock.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
The best effing push Bobby Lashley ever got was in front of no fans, and it makes me want to fucking jump off a building. Anyway.
That is frustrating on a personal level.
It is. It's, yeah. He's somebody that I could see going to AEW or going back to TNA when his contract ends. Just just to end his career on a higher note, maybe with a world title in a different company. But
Well,
yes, those are all of Roman's title defenses. You guys did really well. Nicely done. You got lucky because I did a 50-50 spin on what trivia question I was going to do, and it was Roman Reigns Universal title defenses or the Undertaker's WrestleMania title defense or WrestleMania opponents.
oh shit.
We would have
And
been
it
fucked
landed
on
on
that one.
and it landed on Roman, so
We would have been fucked with the Undertaker one.
I would
Yeah.
have gotten to like Giant Gonzalez and like quit.
I remember the first one I watched was I think 14 or 15, and it was 14. That was the Austin versus Michaels one, and no, I think it might have been 15. The fucking Undertaker is Hell in a Cell with the Big Boss Man, and
Where he hung him?
yeah, he legitimately hangs him from the cell. And as a 15-year-old, I was like, whoa, he just killed a dude on TV. That's awesome.
Well, you came for the WrestleMania review and you stayed for the bullshit. Because if you watched this whole thing and didn't realize that there was some shenanigans at the end, you've never watched this show before. Also, you don't know me, Bryce, and Devlin very well because shenanigans
There's
are
always
guaranteed.
shenanigans in some form. It's just a matter of what.
Correct.
There's always some sort of bullshittery right at the end. Well, gents, WrestleMania season is in the books. We're done.
Now it's the road to SummerSlam.
Don't remind me.
Oh,
Dude.
by the way, I do want to make one note. I did something we haven't brought up yet. Triple H did announce, I don't know if it was on X or in an interview he did. He did say the draft is about a month away.
Oh, so we are doing the draft.
We are doing the draft. Yep. He said it's about a month away or so.
Yes, I love the draft.
So
Draft is fun.
And expect like a million returns tomorrow on Raw because
yes.
I won't be surprised if Uncle Howdy shows up and Alexa Bliss shows up and everybody and their fucking mother loses their mind when fucking Braun Breaker fucking kills somebody. Anyway,
what's your real quick before we sign off? What's the biggest surprise you're thinking we'll see tomorrow night on Raw? Because the Raw after Mania is generally, the biggest and most full of surprises. What do you think is the biggest surprise we see tomorrow night?
Judging by Triple H's comments last night, Brock Lesnar.
He said, and his comments were, quote, Brock Lesnar's not gone from WWE. He's just at home doing Brock stuff.
Jagging. Jagging off.
Okay, on that note, before we don't get to season 3, because we're going to get canceled, again, wouldn't be the first time. We're going to get out of here. Season 3 starts next week because my trip got canceled, so that sucks. But season 3 starts next week. There will be a show next week. Russ will be back. These two chuckle fucks will not be here. Neither of you are fired. Neither of you are fired.
Oh,
I want to make that.
Hey, maybe you'll run into me in the hallway when I'm raiding the vending machine. And I steal a few bags of Fritos off the back while the guy's not looking. You know. Maybe you'll see me do that.
I'm going to steal a bunch of Snickers because, Ben, you could use the Snickers.
We're going to put a box of Snickers on Ben's desk and leave him a little note that says, you're not yourself when you're hungry. If you eat a Snickers, you'll like Orange Cassidy.
Nah, and then it'll say, hungry? Why wait? ?
For not having a sponsor, we've sure plugged a lot of random ass shit tonight. Anyway, this show brought to you by manscaped.com. Just kidding. All right.
Braid Shadow Legends.
Bryce.
by NordVPN. Use code WrestleTalk for 30%. Wait, what?
Wrong channel. Okay. Gentlemen, thank you so much for doing this. I know you guys probably the last thing you wanted to waste your weekend on was doing this fucking show, but thank you for being here because without you guys, night 2, we probably don't have a show because Russ is sick. So
true, very true.
I'd have pulled one of you out of the hat though. Devlin probably would have done it anyway.
Yeah, I got nothing better to do.
I pay Devlin handsomely in yen, of course, to show up.
Yes.
A gas station hot dog and a buy one get one free Coca-Cola.
One of them is definitely expired. I won't tell you which one.
The coupon, yes.
Ben drank half of it before he gave it to you.
And it was warm and sitting on his counter. Yes.
It was room temperature. And he won't let you put it in the fridge. It's also
and
flat.
Then the coupon was expired. And the yen had his face on it. It was weird anyway.
It was Monopoly money with Ben's face on it.
It said in Ben we trust.
Ben
we trust.
Anyway, Damon, play my fucking music, guys. Let's go home. Good night, everybody.